Yudias versus Zwijo, round 4. And yes, I know there is a new opening, but I'll be covering that separately after I've caught up with all of these other reviews. Now wait, could the Dark Power be a form of Earthdemar? Think about this. The thing only appeared when the Darkmen won a duel against our heroes. Just like how Earthdemar / Darkman is affected when our heroes win against the Dark Matter Empire. And if this Dark Power can be given to someone, thus giving them new abilities, like we saw with Zwijo, who A, has experience with Earthdemar, and B, in this very episode, used powers that we've never seen him use before, like using shadows to create himself a ladder, or he gained more human strength. But I did find it slightly odd how he had to use a summoning chant when using these new powers. Now, the chant he used was Requiem's chant, a monster that has been used whenever Zwijo has wanted to use Earthdemar to fuse with himself to gain a new form of power, or to make the monster real. So am I crazy for thinking this is an idea / theory that could be true? There are just too many connections with what we've seen from this episode. Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downs, and today we are talking about episode 111 from the Yugioh Go Rush anime series. Once again, an episode that shows off Zwijo's talents. But this episode did also lessen my enjoyment for one particular character, and I'll get on with that later. But for now, let's talk about the duel. So Yudias versus Zwijo round 4. Now every time Yudias has duelled Zwijo, it's been high stakes and intensity, with two of the duels being very action heavy, and the third giving us that emotional send-off. Now this duel wasn't as impactful as the others, but it was fun. And I love seeing how Zwijo showed that he has embraced the powers that the Dark Meister has bestowed upon him. Seeing the Dark Matter Requiem fusion monster that was summoned by use of contact fusion. Now this monster's effect was amazing, and it seemed super overpowered during this duel, especially within the rush dueling format. However, the reason as to why I think this is a good thing is because you're making contact fusion seem really powerful. After all, you're already relying on 2 cards instead of 3. Yes, I know there are cards that can search out the fusion spell card, but at the same time, contact fusion should be more powerful than regular fusion, as it's a lot more easier to access in terms of trying to perform it, as long as you have the right cards, of course. Now, I liked how Zwijo won here, but the only negative that I have with this victory is that it continues to make the Darkmen look weaker. Because out of 5, not including the Dark Meister versus Zwijo duel, they've lost 4, with the only win happening because of Zwijo. Now, one new feature that I think could prove to help with this issue was the reward of victory. Now, we need to remember that the Darkmen are very new. They haven't experienced a lot of things, but now that they've tasted victory, this could make their desire to win even greater. I like how we have this dynamic now where our heroes, whenever they win, Danamu multiplies. And now when our antagonists win, they gain more of this dark power. Now what is the dark power used for? We have no idea. It could boost the Darkmen's abilities, or it could create new Darkmen like Zwijo. Now if that is true, then it would have meant that they've already beaten someone from the side of light, so that the Dark Meister can bestow Zwijo with the powers and privileges that come with being a Dark Man, or a part of the Dark Matter Empire. Again, I could be onto something with that mini-theory / idea. Zwijo returning for the crew didn't give them, or us in fact, any answers, which was probably a good thing because I don't think he knows any of them either. But I did like how despite everything that's happened, it was still a positive experience for Yudias. And seeing his reaction to seeing Zwijo before the duel was very heartwarming, as you've got to imagine how scared and lonely Yudias has been feeling. Yes, he has the humans around him, but he's the only one of his kind left. And knowing that he's not alone anymore just has to bring him joy. So I like seeing Yudias' reaction here, and it does humanize him a bit more too. We still don't know the importance of curry bread, but I do have a little theory about that too. As you see, we know that when the crew first started eating the curry bread, Danamu was glowing. At first they just brushed that off and said it was a reaction from the Earthdemar. But what if that was the one that the Dark Meister wanted, and that gave Danamu the ability to multiply himself with? However, regardless of what the importance was, or if the curry bread actually had any properties or value to it, this does reveal that someone has been feeding the Dark Meister information, and now we need to find out who that person is. Plus, we could assume that Zwijo knew that nothing would happen if he delivered that curry bread to the Dark Meister, as yes, he is now a loyal member or a knight of the Dark Matter Empire. He's not out to destroy the world. We need to remember that Zwijo had its own ideas and agenda. So, if giving the Dark Matter Empire more power and substance doesn't align with his wishes, he's not really going to do it. But he's going to act to the point where they believe and trust him. So ultimately, I would like to see Yuki beat Zwijo next, as we're still waiting for that rematch. But it looks like that Yuki is dueling in the next episode, so maybe we won't get to see it. Nevertheless though, I really did enjoy this episode from start to finish. And the one character that I alluded to at the beginning that my dislike has kind of grown for now is in fact Sabias, as he's now been rendered a cheerleader slash Zwijo fangirl. And although I can't discredit the guy for that, because Zwijo is just great, it's really annoying seeing him acting like this. And his character for me is now just regressed. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on this episode and any of the things that I may have missed, and on some of the points that I've raised. If you agree with my theory at the beginning, let me know. Let's have a discussion about it. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you have, hit that like button, comment your thoughts, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Alligator, madane. Goodbye.